If you've ever hung around the genuinely wealthy, not the flashy, loud kind, but the people who've quietly built millions over time, you'll notice something shocking. The financial part of their lives is incredibly boring. No midnight trading panics, no chasing crypto trends, no hyping up hot tips. To an outsider, it looks like absolutely nothing is happening. But that boredom? That's not an accident. It's the secret engine behind their fortune. Today, we're breaking down the 8 quiet, unremarkable habits that build real, lasting wealth, and why excitement is actually the enemy of your bank account. Let's dive in. The secret of quiet wealth, the 8 boring habits that build real fortune. Introduction, the illusion of loud money. Imagine walking into a room filled with 2 types of people. On one side, you see the flash and the glitter. These are the conspicuously wealthy. They talk loudly about their latest stock options, they flash the newest luxury gadgets, and their financial lives look like a high-speed Hollywood movie. But if you look closely at the other side of the room, you will find a different group. These are the people who have quietly built true, lasting wealth over a very long time. If you listen to them, one of the first things you will notice might shock you. The financial part of their lives appears to be completely, utterly boring. There are no midnight trading panics. There are no frantic calls about a hot tip they heard at a golf course. There is no visible excitement about money at all. Instead, there is only a set of routine, unremarkable habits. They are so quiet that you wouldn't even notice them unless you were specifically looking. But here is the secret. The boring part is the whole point. The boredom is not a side effect. It is the engine that drives their success. Today, we are going to open the book on the 8 most consistent habits of the quietly wealthy. By the end of this journey, you will understand why the safest, most reliable path to true fortune looks from the outside like almost nothing is happening at all. Chapter 1. The Beauty of Boring Investments. The investment portfolio of a genuinely wealthy person is usually an absolute snooze fest. If you were to open their account statements, you wouldn't find a thrilling list of trendy tech startups or highly volatile digital currencies. Instead, you would see a clean, simple mix of low-cost index funds. Depending on their age, you might see a few stable bonds or a piece of steady real estate. And that is it. They do not pick individual stocks based on a sudden gut feeling about the next big thing. They do not own digital coins that force them to check their phone 3 times every hour just to see if their net worth went up or down. This simplicity is not because they lack financial intelligence. In fact, it is exactly the opposite. Sophisticated investors understand that decades of global financial evidence point to one clear truth. A complex portfolio almost never brings better returns. What it does bring is higher fees, massive stress, and more opportunities to make a terrible mistake. The quietly wealthy are perfectly content to be spectacularly uninteresting. They embrace broad market exposure, low costs, and a long time horizon. They let the steady oak tree of the market grow, while others chase the quick flare of fireworks. Chapter 2. The Power of the Waiting Rule. Here is a habit that sounds incredibly simple when you hear it, yet it is beautifully rare in the real world. Every truly wealthy person uses some form of a pre-committed waiting rule for any large financial decision. They do not just say, "Let me think about it." That is a vague intention that easily breaks under pressure. Instead, they have a strict, named boundary. They set a specific period during which they promise themselves they will not act, no matter how exciting, urgent, or life-changing the opportunity sounds. For some, it is a strict 24-hour rule. For others, it is a full week. Some live by the social boundary. I never discuss or agree to investments in social settings. No matter the specific time frame, the structure serves the exact same purpose. It completely removes the decision from the emotional cloud of the moment. It gives the logical brain time to catch up with the excited heart. By turning this into an automatic rule, they don't have to rely on willpower when a high-pressure salesperson or a passionate friend pitches an idea. Every investment, every luxury purchase, and every limited-time offer benefits from this cooling-off period. And almost every single time, the delay saves them from a costly mistake. Chapter 3. The Elegance of a Simple Map. One of the ultimate signs of true financial mastery is a system so clean you can explain it to a child in less than a single minute. If you look at the structure of the quietly wealthy, it usually fits on the back of a napkin. One checking account for regular bills. One savings account for emergencies. One workplace retirement account filled to the maximum employer match. One long-term investment account left alone to grow. They know exactly what is in each account, and they know precisely what role that money plays. This sounds almost too simple, but maintaining this clarity is a deliberate choice. Many wealthy people have learned the hard way that complexity is a trap. Complexity creates friction. It hides small mistakes, blurs your vision, and makes it incredibly difficult to spot problems before they turn into financial disasters. If your financial life requires a massive, color-coded spreadsheet just to understand where your money is today, you have built a maze. The wealthy prefer a straight, clear path. Chapter 4. The Financial Calendar. You will never catch a genuinely wealthy person logging into their investment accounts every single morning. That is the behavior of an anxious gambler, someone whose emotional happiness is tied to a number that changes every few seconds. It is an exhausting way to live, and an even worse way to manage money. Instead, the wealthy treat their finances with professional respect by scheduling regular reviews. They put these dates on the calendar just like a routine dentist appointment. They aren't doing it because it's thrilling fun. They do it because it is vital. Every month, a quick calculation of their total net worth to ensure the ship is sailing in the right direction. Every quarter, a check-in to make sure each account is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Every year, a deeper dive into insurance policies, estate documents, and fixed annual costs. By scheduling these moments, they completely remove daily anxiety from the equation. They give their money the attention it deserves without letting it rule their thoughts. The alternative, ignoring it until a crisis hits, is a mistake they simply refuse to make. Chapter 5. Leaving no penny behind. This habit is perhaps the most immediate action anyone can take, yet it is the one most people accidentally skip. The quietly wealthy possess a fierce discipline when it comes to capturing every single financial benefit they are legally and technically entitled to receive. They do not leave money on the table. If an employer offers a retirement match, they sign up immediately. If their situation qualifies for a specific tax deduction, they claim it. If their company offers a hidden perk or insurance benefit, they enroll. Let's look at the simple math of a missed employer match, because it is staggering. If a company offers to match 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, they are handing you a guaranteed 50% return on your money. There is absolutely zero market risk attached to it. Walking past a benefit like that simply because you haven't gotten around to the paperwork is one of the most expensive choices a person can make. Because it happens quietly and passively, it might not feel like a bad decision, but the wealthy know it is a massive leak in the bucket. Chapter 6. Knowing your true baseline. Let's try a quick mental experiment. Without looking at your phone or logging into your bank, can you state your exact monthly fixed outgoings to within $50? This means your rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, phone bills, car payments, and every single automatic subscription. If you cannot answer right away, you are not alone. But you are running in a different circle than the quietly wealthy. They know this baseline number with sharp precision. Even better, they sit down at the start of every year to audit the list, forcing every single recurring expense to prove it still deserves a place on their bank statement. Why does this matter so deeply? Because fixed costs are dangerous. They are the expenses you cannot easily cut in a sudden moment of overspending. They are locked in, they repeat month after month, and they silently grow over time as companies slowly raise their subscription prices. Knowing your precise baseline means knowing your true financial reality. It tells you exactly how much surplus money actually exists to be invested. That concrete knowledge is a powerful tool, far better than a vague feeling that you probably spend too much. Chapter 7. The Psychological Safety Net. True wealth means never living at the absolute edge of your financial limits. The wealthy do not let their accounts run down to the red line, not because a law prevents them, but because they have a strict personal rule. They maintain an intentional buffer. This buffer is a set amount of money that sits in their everyday accounts, untouched, acting as a permanent cushion. It serves two brilliant functions. Financial cushion. 1. Prevents emotional panic, stops rushed, desperate choices. 2. Creates mental distance, separates bank balance from anxiety. Think about the difference in mindset. A person who knows their checking account will never drop below $3,000 operates with a calm, clear mind. They make patient, rational choices. On the other hand, a person who is constantly checking if a $20 debit card charge will bounce is stuck in a state of survival panic. The buffer might look like an idle asset that isn't earning massive interest, but as a psychological tool for clear thinking, its value is immeasurable. Chapter 8. The Golden Wall of Silence. This is perhaps the oldest, most classic habit of deep, generational wealth, and it serves a profound practical purpose. Truly wealthy people do not talk about their money with people who do not need to know. Money is treated as a deeply private matter, much like a personal medical record. You do not bring it up over casual dinners, and you do not boast about it to acquaintances. By building this quiet wall of silence, they protect their financial life from a massive amount of social friction. When the world does not know the exact size of your bank account, you protect yourself from a long line of complications. You do not receive unsolicited, bad investment advice from amateurs. You do not create uncomfortable social obligations or expectations among friends. You do not give people the exact information they need to ask you for a handout or a loan. Without this silence, visible wealth quickly attracts unwanted weight, the distant cousin's risky business pitch, the friend who needs a permanent favor, or the organization that suddenly doubles its request. Silence keeps the financial path clean, peaceful, and free of drama. Conclusion: the masterpiece of time. 8 habits. When you look at them closely, not a single one requires a massive genius IQ, a stroke of incredible luck, or a degree in advanced economic theory. They simply require a willingness to do small, unremarkable things with absolute consistency, year after year, until the silent magic of compounding interest does the heavy lifting. The reason real wealth looks incredibly boring from the outside is because building it is inherently boring by design. The wild excitement, the midnight stock options, the stressful all-in bets, and the dramatic financial rescues make for great television, but they are the natural enemies of real prosperity. Bated breath and high adrenaline belong at the casino, not in your financial future. When you strip away everything that feels thrilling but ultimately fails, the quiet, boring routine is exactly what is left. And as the wealthiest people in the world have proven time and time again, that beautiful boredom is more than enough. Final thoughts. Building real wealth isn't about the grand slams or the lucky breaks. It's about having the discipline to do unremarkable things consistently, day after day, until time does the heavy lifting for you. If this video gave you just one habit to start building this week, let me know down in the comments which one it is. Don't forget to hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you haven't already, because next week, we're looking at the exact opposite. The quiet, invisible habits that look perfectly fine on the surface, but are secretly dismantling everything you're trying to build. You won't want to miss that one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.